Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on the Growth Project podcast, a podcast for you if you're ready to make a real impact in this lifetime. Whether you're looking to start your own business, travel the world, or simply live life with more purpose, the Growth Project podcast will guide you every step of the way. Hosted by motivational speaker, life coach, and self-proclaimed truth dealer, Sherise, you can be sure that the Growth Project podcast will guide you in a progressive and authentic way towards your highest, most badass, unapologetic self. So sit back, buckle up, and get ready for the ride. Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl Sherise here, and welcome to another episode on the Growth Project podcast. As you guys know, I am forever your host. So for today's episode, oh my God, I am actually super excited to do this episode. I feel like this episode is really needed, and it's something that I kind of want to drill into your guys' head. All of my growth babies, all of my self-development babes, all of my people who are super interested in healing and self-improvement and basically self-mastery and becoming the best version of yourself that you can and living the life that you want to live, you need to understand this one concept. It seems so counterintuitive, especially from the way that we grew up, but it is so essential to growth. So as you guys know, on the Growth Project podcast, we talk all things growth related: spirituality, manifestation, self-development and improvement, love, relationships, and self-actualization, becoming the people who we actually want to be. So for the past month and a half, I've been doing my Fit for Fall challenge. It originally started as me just wanting to be more active because as I work from home now and my business grows from home now, I realize that sometimes I do miss seeing people, even like just for physical interaction. I sometimes do feel like, it's nice just, saying hi to people, talking to different people, even though it can get annoying when you do it a lot in the service industry, like in the customer service industry. There's still an aspect of like customer service that I miss, and just getting to interact with so much people. And, when you meet really nice people and everything like that, it could really like brighten up your day. And yeah, you just get to make like just these random connections. So I've kind of missed that. And also I have missed the physical aspect. When I was in customer service, I was on my feet all day. I was walking every day. I was getting those steps in. And ever since I started my online coaching business, I haven't been getting that much steps in because I work mostly from home. I work from my computer and my phone, and that is it. So, I wanted to be super intentional about moving my body and just getting more in shape, just prioritizing my body. I believe in growth in all aspects, multidimensional, mind, body, soul, spirit, bank account. So I was like, the body growth is lacking. We have to get back on it. So I decided to start just going for a run every single day, which I started Virgo season. Perfect time to start. I was I literally trusted the transits, and I was like, Virgo season's my 6th house. It's gonna help me become more just consistent and like value my body more. So I was like, I started it then. I started in September, and it was a 30-day challenge where I would get up every day and go run a couple of laps around my neighborhood. I started with doing whatever I could do, and then I slowly increased it as the days went. And honestly, guys, I'm so proud of myself. I won't freaking lie to you. I completed that challenge, and honestly, I'm actually pretty shook because I thought that there would be more days where I would be like, I don't want to do this, but like that happened a handful of times. And it was mostly like when it rained and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I don't want to go out there. So I think I missed 2 days out of my challenge, maximum 3 days if I'm not misquoting myself. But it's not like I missed those. Like I missed those days in being perfectly consistent, we'll say, but I didn't miss my 30 days that I did. I actually ended up doing way more than 30 days. Continuing, instead of doing 4 weeks, I ended up doing 6 weeks, and I still get my runs in at least 1 to 2 times a week now. But I completed the challenge. So there was a lot of things that this challenge taught me. And I just want to say thank you to all of the people who are listening who did the challenge with me. I'm super proud of you guys for showing up for yourselves and deciding like to follow this crazy lady on on Instagram and do some cardio and go for walks and run on your treadmill and everything like that. Like, I just love to see people showing up for themselves and prioritizing their growth and their health and their self-love. So thank you guys for joining and just even supporting me from like all of the messages or the likes that I would get and just the encouragement emojis that you guys sent. I truly appreciate it. So there are some things that this really taught me. As someone who has struggled with discipline and consistency basically her whole life, you guys know that I've been trying to work on creating a routine, especially working from home, being your own boss. A routine or like schedule or some sort of structure is super duper important. When you have no one looking over your shoulder to tell you what needs to get done, you need to be your own boss and you need to implement structure for yourself, which is hard when you have problem with consistency and discipline, and even more so when you love to chill and you love to be a little bit lazy. It is even harder. So Fit for Fall was definitely a pivotal moment. It showed me so much my growth. I don't think that I really understood how much I grew until I did this challenge and I showed up consistently for all those days in a row, for a full month and more in a row. I literally thought that I would not be able to complete this. I was very worried about starting this challenge and, publicizing it, because I was like, oh my God, when I'm going to fail or when I'm not going to go, like, I'm going to feel so embarrassed or I'm going to feel ashamed and like people are going to be counting on me and looking towards me. So I was very worried about starting this. But something that I learned and something that I want to tell you guys about that really helped me push during this time is understanding this concept that I'm going to explain now. So, you cannot hate yourself into love, change, or progress. You cannot hate yourself into love, change, or progress. Let that sit for a second. Think about what's already coming up in your mind. What came up for me during this time is that, and that's something that I've already believed is just confirmed to me more and more so. The reason why I got through this challenge wasn't because of I became all of a sudden super organized and so disciplined. I was dedicated 100%. I was passionate about doing this. I was dedicated to doing this and I was intentional. I wanted this for my body. I wanted this for my health. But what really became the changing factor here is how I showed up for myself and how I talked to myself. So every single day when I would get out of bed and I had to run in the morning, that was the first thing I had to do. I tried to do it later in the evening. Like, I would tell myself, like, it's okay, don't go this morning, you can do it later in the evening. I realized that I was setting myself up for failure when I did this, because evening came, I never wanted to run, and I literally had to push myself, or my boyfriend would have to push me and be like, you didn't do your run today. So I just did that like a couple times, and I realized, okay, no, evenings, it's a lie. When my brain says you're gonna go in the evening, it's lying to you. Just do it in the morning. And every single morning that I woke up, with this one objective, go outside for your run. And then when I was running, so there's already first hurdle, going outside, getting ready, going outside to run. There is the first time your brain tries to tell you, do we really need to do this? Can we go later? It's not that serious. And then you get through that. You just let your brain talk. You do your thing. You put on your clothes. You go outside. Now, as you're walking, I don't know, this is how it happened for me. I'm walking. I know I'm going to go like 3 laps. My brain's like, maybe we can do like 2.5 laps. Maybe we could just stick to like another route today. Like, we don't have to do the same one. Again, just shutting it up and then doing the thing, right? And then even when you're in the laps and you're on your second lap, my brain's saying, this is good. You already did it. You don't need to do a 3rd lap. You don't need to go an extra mile. Like, you're good. So I don't know if any other person's internal dialogue when it comes to exercise is this lazy, or is this like avoidant of pain, but mine is. When it comes to physical exercise, when it comes to things like the gym, this is what the voice in my head sounds like. But for other things, it sounds very different. So I found that very, very interesting, because when it comes for doing things that I'm good at, or things that I find super duper important, etc., the voice in my head sounds a little bit different. So one, I found that to be very, very interesting. Like, okay, the voice in your head doesn't sound the same for all aspects in your life. So this aspect, or this part of myself, was really avoidant around physical activity. But truly and truly, what ended up changing everything for me was how I talk to myself before, during, and after doing my runs and for Fit for Fall. First of all, I was super duper happy every single time I completed a day. I posted it, I marked it off on my phone. Like, I was just so proud. And during the run, I was coaching myself. I was boosting myself. I was in the moments that I needed to. I was talking to myself. There was moments where, my brain was like, stop, it's hurting. And I had to look at myself and be like, it's not even hurting. Like, your legs may be hurting, but your heart can go more. Like, your heart doesn't hurt. So like, keep running. You're good. Like, you can go. You still have more fuel. Keep going. And I would blast music and I would just run. I would be like, keep going. Like, you got this. When I would cut around the corners, I'll be like, yo, this is light work. This ain't nothing. You got this. Damn, 2 rounds already. That 3rd one's going to be an easy breeze. I was running and I was like, the whole entire time, I was like, this is so easy. This is so easy. I was saying, damn, I didn't know I was capable of this. Keep going. I was like, go, keep going. You got this. Oh, light work. Okay. Like, I was literally talking to myself like that in my head as I was running. I was encouraging myself. I was coaching myself. Even the times where I started running super slow and I started dragging along, I was like, pick up the pace. When you're slower, you put more toll on the body. You want to stop when you run too slow. Pick up the pace. You're gonna get it done quicker if you go faster. Things like that. Like, I was really coaching and encouraging myself. And that was the hugest difference this time on why I was able to complete a full month worth of physical activity versus literally being pained in the past. that was the huge difference, y'all. I encouraged myself. I was there for myself. I was literally fighting the demons and fighting the battles with me. I didn't leave myself. I was there with myself. I coached myself. I encouraged myself. And once I finished, I gave myself a huge fucking pat on the back. I would literally clap out loud. Real life. Like once I'm finishing my lap, I would put my hand over my head. I'll be like, yes. And I would clap. I would say, damn, I'm so proud of you. Okay, you won today, Sherise. You beat yourself today. I beat that voice in my head. And it was so incredible. Like, honestly, it seems like nothing now, but I'm like, yo, I really did like 6 weeks of a challenge and I really stick to it. Like, I've never done that. I've never, ever done that in my life. Like, the only thing that I do consistently every single day are biological processes, like sleeping, eating, and even eating can be some days I would not eat in the past, but like now I eat all the time. But I'm just saying, like, to be consistent on something that I was intentional about, something I said I was going to do, and I did it every single day, it brought just so much more confidence in myself and confidence that I can do hard things and that I can do the things that I set out to do, even if I don't know everything that I need to know, even if I'm not fully equipped, even if my knees were hurting at a certain point and I had to adjust my route or warm up a little bit more. I trusted myself and I felt so freaking confident during this challenge, and once it was completed, to the point where I just kept on going. And now I've kind of reduced the amount, so I don't go every single day, especially since it started being cold out. But right now I'm just focusing on longevity and keeping physical activity in my life. So finding substitutes for the days that I don't go out to keep that physical activity in my life. So 2 things I want to leave with you guys when it comes to change, when it comes to transformation, when it comes to growth, and when it comes to progress. Doing the things that you said you were going to do to the best of your ability, so not perfectly. There were some days I didn't do the 3 laps. I barely made it at 2. I was like, damn, what happened? Like, I did 3 yesterday. I did 4 the day before. How come today, I barely have 2 in? And that was interesting because I would see like days when I didn't sleep well, days when I didn't eat well, I have less energy. But it's very interesting. And not every single day I like beat my yesterday. Like some days I did 3 or 4, and then the day after I just like, 2 was it for me. I was huffing and puffing. So I did give it my best. I did show up to the best of my ability. And I think that what was important for me. The fact that I went outside every single day and I did it, to the point where as long as I was outside, I was like, I'm proud of you, because you literally got up, put your clothes on and went to run in the morning. Like, I'm already proud of you. Like, anything you do beyond this point it's marvelous. But I still, I'm a little bit competitive, so I wanted to beat certain dates and always improve, always progress. Like, that's my thing. But I truly learned that when you do what you say you're going to do, and when you show up for yourself, even for things that you never did before, I really didn't know if I was going to fully complete these 30 days fit for fall. I didn't know if I would just like be in week 2, and survive the dip of motivation and survive the dip. I think you guys know what the dip is, but if you don't, I highly recommend that you listen to episode 16, I believe 13 or 16 of this podcast. It's titled How to Stay Consistent When You Feel Lazy, Surviving the Dip Plus Staying Motivated. That podcast, I talk a lot about the dip, and the dip is usually when we start off to do something. In the beginning, we are highly motivated. We have a lot of dopamine. It's new enough. It's exciting enough to get us started and push through. And then there comes a point where, it's not as new. The excitement kind of wears off. the novelty wears off, and now we have to push a little bit more with our willpower, versus before it was a little bit easier because it was like actually exciting to us. So once you hit the dip, this is where a lot of people quit, and a lot of people kind of give up because it becomes harder, and then you're kind of faced with this reality as well, like, okay, this is not going to be as easy as I thought it was. And a lot of people usually give up during that time. So, and I talk about in that episode some of the tactics and tricks that I use to get out of the dip and stay motivated. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. If you have anything that you want to stay consistent on, it will help greatly. But I went through the dip, and I was like, damn, actually during the 2 weeks of the dip is where I missed the 2 to 3 days that I was telling you guys about, is through those things. And one of the tactics that I used, or one of the techniques that I used, was replacement. And I talk about that in the episode, in which when things become kind of boring and your brain doesn't want to do it, you can find a new or fun way to do the thing and like achieve your overall goal. So what I did was I bought some tennis rackets for me and my partner, and then, instead of doing my run, like for like during the weekends, I would be able to go play tennis. And I don't know if y'all be playing tennis, but that shit works you up, especially like going from the ball, running really quickly. Like, it's great cardio as well. So I got to like swap my runs for that, and it was fun for me because I was learning. I didn't really play tennis like that before. So that kind of helped me stay motivated and stay on track with my overall goal. Because remember, the overall goal was not to just necessarily run every day. The overall goal, the purpose behind what I was doing, which is what we need to remember when we're setting goals, is the purpose behind what we're doing, so we don't get caught up in these vanity metrics. Is the purpose behind what I was doing was to move my body more, because I had been at home and I wanted to become fitter. I wanted to work on my cardio, especially since I live a relatively slower version of life right now. And I wanted to get my body moving, I wanted to get my blood pumping, and I wanted to increase, like heart, whatever is in my heart. I wanted to increase my cardio. So that was the overall purpose. So instead of saying something like, oh, I wasn't actually really consistent, or I didn't actually go run every day. Well, no, that's totally okay as well, because it's not running. I'm not training for a marathon. I want to be healthier and fitter. And the purpose behind that is what really matters. So when the fact that I employed that mindset really helped me stay on track. Because there were some days I was like, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We are going to do, we're going to keep it pushing, but we can add elements that can make this more interesting for you. Like, I literally went out, I ran with my dog, things like that, as long as it stayed true to the purpose. And as long as it was progressing me, towards the path or towards the actual goal. So that's something I want to leave with you, because a lot of times we set goals based on the actions that we need to perform, but not the overall purpose. And that can be something that sabotages us or gets in the way, especially when we have problems with things like perfectionism and overthinking and just overall being mean and hard to ourselves. We can now see I said I was going to run every day, or I said I was going to walk every day, but I didn't ended up doing that. And that is not walking every day is, yes, you is part of the engagement that you chose to carry out your purpose, but always remember the purpose in itself. So the second thing that I wanted to leave you guys with, which will conclude our podcast today, is that there is no benefit. There's literally little to no benefit in beating yourself up. Now, if you guys don't believe me, please Google it. Please research it. There is literal neuroscience to prove the fact that the way you talk to yourself matters, and the things you say to yourself can actually influence whether or not you complete the things that you say you will do. So especially when faced with a difficult task, it's so important to talk to ourselves kindly, to be super compassionate with ourselves, to be encouraging, to be our own cheerleaders, and to not beat ourselves up, to not tear ourselves down, to not tell ourselves all of the negative things that we may have heard growing up. It is so important. Like I said, there's literally test studies and neuroscience and neurologists who have spoken about the fact that literal self-compassion increases your chance of completing difficult things. They did all of these studies with like different groups of people, and like the first group of people, they were told like it was like they were in front of a difficult task. The first group was like, you have to say positive things to yourself while you do these tasks. The second group had no guidance, and the third group was told to say negative things. The second group, some of them did okay, some of them didn't do okay. The last group, almost none of them, like a little bit of them actually completed the task, and it was like through sheer will, and like they completed the task, but in a way that was really hard and gruesome to them. And the first group, they had more winners in that group, or more people who completed that task, than the two other groups combined. So if there was 10 per group, they had more people who completed that task in the first group who talked positively to themselves versus the other two groups combined. That just shows you the power that we hold when it comes to how we decide to treat ourselves and how we decide to talk to ourselves. So important. And I know we like to think that the harder we are on ourselves, the better result that we're going to produce. And I feel like especially in our cultures where we receive this type of like tough love type of vibe, we tend to internalize that and keep that with us. But some things I like to remind people is when your parents were quote unquote giving you that tough love, or when they were screaming at you, or when they were shaming you or guilt tripping you, did that actually make you a better person? One, and did that actually make you feel motivated to do the things that they wanted you to do by guilt tripping, shaming you, etc.? And three, did you look forward to now doing that thing because they guilt tripped you, shamed you, screamed at you to do it in the future? So the thing is that most times than not, the answer is no. We didn't like that. We weren't motivated to do it after because we got guilt tripped or shamed or screamed at. And it made doing that whatever we were doing actually more painful and more dread than anything else. And it's the same thing that we do with ourselves, yet for some reason we've convinced ourselves that when we are actually mean to ourselves and we call ourselves little bitches and lazy asses and get the fuck up, you piece of shit, we think that that is what I need to get myself moving. But if you need literal self-hate to get yourself up and moving, to do a thing that you know yourself you need to do, what does that tell you about the state of being that you're in? What does that tell you about the type of relationship you have with yourself? What does that tell you? What if you had a friend that every single time you did something, you wore something, you said something weird in an event at night, they were at the end of the event like, yo, why are you so fucking weird? Why did you do this? Why did you wear that? Like, can you get it together? Can you fucking like get your shit together? Like, no one's gonna love you like this. Like, you can't do shit right. We would call that an abusive relationship, guys. We would call that a verbally abusive, emotionally abusive relationship. Yet we do that to ourselves every single day in our heads. And then we wonder why we procrastinate, why we don't get shit done, why we don't do anything. Well, it's pretty simple, guys. We don't do anything because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust that we can do this thing and not do it perfectly and have our own backs. If your mind knows, hey, if I don't do this in the perfect way, if I don't have the exact results that I wanted, if I post this shit and I don't have 3 million followers or 3,000 followers, or I don't have 100 likes, or I don't speak without making a mistake, then I'm shit and I'm gonna beat myself up about it. Then why would yourself, who is literally biologically wired to protect you, why would it go forward with it? Obviously not. It's gonna try to save itself from literally being beat up. I want you right now to go to the corner of the street and pick a fight with someone and say, beat me up. You probably are not going to allow that. And that is what your body and your mind is doing with you. That is why you're not completing the task that you want to get done. That is why when you have a project and a passion project and you have so much excitement around it, yet you don't do anything about it. Because what if your brain knows, okay, if she doesn't get the result, or if he doesn't get the result that he wants or that she wants, then they're going to be even meaner to us. So let's prevent them from even starting on this. Let's prevent them. Let's make them low energy. Let's make them overthink. Let's make them procrastinate and be in paralysis, so that they don't start this thing that is equally exciting but equally scary. Because if it doesn't go their way, then we're gonna all feel like shit. So now your brain's just protecting all of you. It's taking it upon itself to protect all of you because it knows when shit doesn't go right, when you're not perfectly consistent, when you don't do things the quote unquote right way, you look at yourself, you blame yourself, you shit on yourself, you pick yourself apart, and you ultimately lower your confidence in yourself, your self-worth in yourself, and your self-trust in yourself. And all that is doing is making sure the next time that you actually don't even go through. You think you get better. You think you don't make a mistake the next time. Oh, beating myself up is saving me from the potential future mistakes that I'm making. No, it's not. It's saving you from potentially ever starting anything that you think you would make a mistake in. Now you're going to sit there and you're not going to start anything because you do not want to make a mistake in it. So I'm just going to end here. You cannot hate yourself into change, love, or progress. The things that you actually are looking for, like I said, it seems counterintuitive in our society, but it makes absolute sense. Otherwise, we do not look at a little baby and when they walk and they fall, say, get up, you little shit. Why did you fall? We encourage them. You ever see parents with their kids? The kids can be 3, 4. Everything they do is yay, yes, good job. They're encouraging them. They're literally wiring their brains to seek this level of validation that what they did was correct for them to do it again. So what do you think you're doing with yourself, with your brain, every single time you shit on yourself, you talk negatively to yourself, and you beat yourself up for making a small mistake, for things not going the way that you wanted to go, or just for things literally outside of your control? You are now wiring yourself for the opposite. You're wiring yourself for fear, you're wiring yourself for shame, and you're wiring yourself for self-hate. And self-hate does not produce the results that we think it does. So, thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk. But if you're someone that struggles with, procrastination, executive dysfunction, basically doing the things you said you were going to do, this is something that you could try to implement and to put into your toolbox, and to really bring it out, especially on those times where you're feeling really down and it's super duper easy for you to start lashing out at yourself. So obviously this takes a lot more work. And if you're someone that is chronically, like, this is your coping mechanism, like you're super uptight about certain stuff, like you're super perfectionist, or you just want things to be a certain way, and when it's not, you either blame yourself or blame other people around you, you might want to seek support with that, because there's also so much studies, and I'll do that in the next episode, that shows that leads to so much health issues. So once again, I love how just by exploring these topics on my podcast, we can see that a lot of these things are intertwined, and that everything means, like, everything's important. We think mental health is not important. We think overcoming our perfectionism or overcoming our fear or overthinking is not that serious, right? That's what people will say, like, why are you paying for this? Or that's like not that serious, but it shows. It affects our ability to complete tasks. It affects our happiness. It affects our health. It affects our relationships. It affects all the different aspects of our life. And that is why it's important. That is why it's important for you to heal, for you to grow, for you to evolve and become the person that you want to be, and for you to fight the conditioning, the unhelpful conditioning that you have internalized that no longer helps you and no longer serves you and serves your highest good. So if that is you, do not feel any shame for wanting to be better. This is natural, and this is the new millennium, baby. This is what we're all about, being healthy, wealthy, and balanced. And I wish that for all of my listeners. So if you guys are interested in working with me, collaborating with me, or even booking me to speak, host, or narrate any one of your projects, feel free to shoot me an email or a DM. All of the info is going to be in the show notes, in the description. And for those of you who are interested in doing this type of work, building your confidence, building your self-esteem, building back that trust again in yourself, so you can truly do the things you said that you're going to do and progress in your life towards the things that you want. This is exactly the type of work I love to do with my clients, and it just so turns out that a lot of my clients want to be online, and they're trying to create some sort of platform online. They're either an influencer or a healer, or just people who have businesses who are now just expanding online, and they want to have some sort of self-expression or want to use their online platform to grow. So if you're one of them, just feel free to look in the description, visit my website, and you'll have all the information that you need there to make a decision on whether or not you would like to work with me. So once again, y'all, thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to talk to you soon. Bye.